I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Desiree Hurtak with my wife, Dr. Desiree, and we're honored to be in conversation with our colleague, Ervin Laszlo, a very outstanding scientist, futurist, composer. And our topic today is our new book entitled Sound, the subtitle of which covers many different aspects of sound. In essence, we look at the human constitution as a musical instrument, not only in terms of the music spectrum, but also in terms of consciousness studies that have been done behind the scene. I've been privileged to work at Stanford Research Institute with Dr. Elizabeth Rauscher and some of the most important studies over the last 25 years to show that every part of our body is part of a musical soundscape. And we want to configure this in terms of what we all agree upon is the music and harmony of the universe that's structured within ourselves. Every part of our body, every microtubule is a type of musical instrument, proclaiming a higher energy field that we can participate in. And if we do, perhaps we can achieve what the medieval philosophers called pax et concordia, peace and harmony.
Right, and we're particularly happy to have Ervin Laszlo with us today because not only does he talk about peace, harmony, coherence, and how we really need to grow and evolve as part of our own system of things, but he, as a young man, was a concert pianist, and he was famous for this. So if anyone knows about sound and the power of sound, it's Ervin Laszlo. So thank you, Ervin, for being with us today. Give us a little thoughts of what you felt about sound, the book, and also your own background and how this all relates.
Well, sound means peace and harmony. Peace and harmony, I think, are the key elements that we need on this planet. These are the elements that we have neglected in the rush for power, for money in the modern times. We need to regain our oneness with the universe. And that means entering again into relationship with the rest of the universe. Now, why do I say peace and coherence? Because according to the new sciences and the quantum sciences, and I believe in that, we ourselves are vibrations, and we are harmonious vibrations, adjusted and in phase and in frequency, joining in frequency. That's when we are constitute what is known as a body, as something real in the world. Actually, we are examples of in-phase harmony. Harmony in the world becomes real, appears as a material thing, as a living thing. Actually, we are exemplifications of harmony in the world. The whole universe, I think, is heading toward, when it is healthy, when it is in the right track, then it's heading toward higher levels of coherence. And higher coherence means being in phase, being in harmony with each other. So there is nothing more important to my mind in the world today than finding the way that we can join together, that we can hit the same sound. We can be part of the sound of the universe, which is a higher level of vibration of which you are a part. So your book is a wonderful guide for that. It illustrates how important sound is and how many ways that we experience sound. All that is essential in today's world. And the pioneering work that you are doing is really an example for all of us. It should be followed by everyone. We should all read that book and enter into that harmony, which is so absolutely essential in the world today. It's the big factor that we have neglected in our separation, in our overdone individualism, in our cutting ourselves off from the music of the spheres, from the music of the universe. Coming back to it, you help with that book, and I'm delighted to be able to join you in attributing the greatest importance to the book that you are doing.
Thank you. Yes, we mentioned Kepler, and of course, he was looking for that harmony even in the spheres around us, the planets. And it's interesting to see that he felt, even though the planet in one phase would be this sound, say Venus or Mars, then when it changed, it would change its phase to another. So there's this ongoing symphony. And I believe that the human body itself is a symphony. Many people say, well, give me my tone, give me my song. It's a whole growth and evolution. So we may start as a young child as having a certain, we'll say, biorhythms or vibrations, and then we are to grow. That's part of what and who we are.
Our new book is
nothing more wonderful in the world than being able to experience that. I had the good fortune as a young child, from the age of 5, to enter seriously into studying piano, playing the piano, and then from the age of 9 playing in public as well. And I could experience that harmony. It wasn't a conscious experience. I couldn't analyze what it is. But when you enter deeply into music, you are in harmony with the people around you, and you are in harmony with nature, with everything around it. You are just entering a different dimension. It's an experience one has in music. Mine came through the piano. That was my instrument. But your book shows how many different ways we can experience the harmony in chanting, in dancing, in every way, because we ourselves, when we are healthy, we are in harmony. We know to find the peace in the world so that harmony could come forth and we could enjoy it and we could join together in celebrating our oneness in this world.
Yes, I agree completely. And of course, we've read some of your publications, your great books. We all acknowledge the limitation of Newtonian science, which has led to scientific reductionism in a world without hope, without harmony. And our inspirational mapping of research has taken us to the pyramids of Mexico and Egypt and China, where we've looked at the musicology of sacred geometry. We have also worked, as you have read in our book, with the music of plants, the structure, the microstructure of the musical vibratory levels that Marcel Vogel and others at Stanford Research Institute and even IBM were able to look at in the 1970s. But it's not until recent times that we see the big picture, the big topology that we are living in the midst of an orchestration of life. And if we open our eyes and sensitivity of our heart, we can begin to realize the contributions that we must make if we're going to have a positive future.
It's so important, these two great discoveries, the importance of harmony and the importance of the heart that you just mentioned. We can access this harmony more through our heart intuitively than through our brain rationally. That is a rationalization that comes afterwards. Einstein already said imagination is more important than reason. And intuition is something that takes us there. And intuition comes through the heart, and through the heart we discover that we can be, and when we are healthy and good, then we are in harmony. So it's a wonderful way to lead our way toward a better, more peaceful world. It's calling attention to the importance of harmony and calling to the attention that through our heart, we can become aware of this harmony and we ourselves become harmonious. As Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change that we need in the harmony in the world. We can be that harmony because when we are healthy, when we are relating healthily and well and ethically to other people around us, to the world around us, then we are in tune, we are in symphony. This is to say we are coherent, we are in harmony.
Thank you. Well, Ervin, you also have a recent book that was by the same publisher, SacredStories. Can you show us that and tell us a little bit about what you're doing with your own personal research?
Well, I'm doing two books actually. One has just been published. I don't know if you can see it. It's called the Survival Imperative.
Perfect.
And it's a very ambitious title, but what I'm describing is the way that we can enter into a harmonious, peaceful relationship with each other, and why that is an absolute imperative for our survival. If we continue on this disharmonious, separatist way, and which we have embarked, especially in the last century and second half of 20th century, and now in the 21st century, that could lead to literally to a dead end, to an extinction, because it leads to separation. It leads to always searching for me and mine, and never mind you and others around us. This desperate rush for own immediate advantage is a very dangerous approach to go. And I'm trying to show that the survival imperative for us is to shift paradigm, to shift to a oneness paradigm, to shift to evolution. Evolution in the universe is a progression toward oneness, toward harmony, toward coherence. Just think how it started in the Big Bang, 13.8 billion years ago. What was there? There were swirling clouds of plasma, randomly connected, if not connected at all, actually, just being together. And out of that universal chaos evolved gradually the quanta that are basic building blocks of the universe, and the quanta joining together into stable atoms, which are themselves harmony in the universe. And out of them comes the molecules and the cells and the groups of cells of living organisms and the examples, communities, and larger units of living organisms, which we call coherent oneness on the planet. This Gaia system is the highest level of harmony that the universe has achieved in this corner of space and time. We are very lucky we are part of it, but we are not very wise because we don't act like it. We don't really treasure it. And your book helps us to act like that together with my book, because you're all searching for the imperative for our survival, which is also the imperative for our survival. If we survive, we cannot, we must thrive. Otherwise, we die. Forward
Okay.
or down. We can't stay the way we are. And we both, with our books, hope to move things forward toward that higher level of oneness, which is evolution in the universe.
Well, I actually believe that all life is vibration. And when you say even the stars, how they work together, I mean, it is this harmony of vibration, of sound. And, you know, music is actually, as you know, when you were a younger man, and you probably still play somewhat today, I hope. Anyway, that it's bringing all this together. And we have to see ourselves as being part of this greater harmony.
Yes, in fact, you could retitle the concept of the Big Bang to be the big breath of vibration that put all of these various particles of microevolution into a structure, a form out of which we are one evolutionary process. But the importance of our work has been able to work from the smallest micro level of insect population and even animal communication through various sounds with the dolphins to that which is in outer space that some of our colleagues who were NASA scientists were able to pick up on in terms of the background sounds of the planets themselves. And so, as the Greeks would say, there is the music of the spheres that we're beginning to really understand as part of the university without walls.
And actually, right now, scientists are looking for the hum of the universe. They're actually looking for that. So I think we all need to be part of that greater hum. Go ahead, Ervin, tell us a little bit more.
And we can experience that. I have taken part in, and I'm more and more aware of, experiments with the EEG patterns of our brain. Even though I say that the heart is our key instrument for perceiving the world around us, the brain can enter into different states. And when you enter a deeper state beyond the alpha level, going down to the delta, and away from the superficial beta levels, then we see that the wave patterns of our EEG waves becomes harmonious, becomes a pattern. And this has been recorded, this has been photographed. And when we enter into these deeply altered states, we are producing harmonious waves. What's more, our waves join together and influence other people's brain waves when they enter into meditation and into deeply altered states or a prayerful state and a musical state. So all this really shows it's not imagination. We truly are harmony, and we can reach higher levels of harmony when we experience it. One way to do it is through entering into a deeper state of consciousness. A way to do it is to listen to the heart. Another way to do it is to listen to music. And still another way is to do it is as you are doing it, experimenting and looking at the science of harmony from the micro level to the cosmic level.
And Erwin, when we were in Egypt, Desiree and I with musicians were doing experiments of harmony and harmonics. I being trained as a singer as well as a composer, And I was able to hit a frequency, and here I'm showing this picture to our audience, of golden light inside the Grand Gallery of the Great Pyramid of Giza, Egypt, where the sound vibrations off the walls of the interior of the pyramid actually momentarily produced a standing columnar wave of energy, which resulted in this golden light that was seen for a few seconds. This, shall we say, opened the eyes of the Egyptian scientists who were with us to realize that perhaps the Great Pyramid was built as a type of sound structure to bring consciousness up, not only for the sociological balance of ancient society, but actually to represent the breathing, the partory process of vibration, which raises our mind to higher states of creativity and oneness.
And we believe that's true for many of the sacred areas around the world. But what you were also saying, like the alpha frequency, and it's interesting that there's that Schumann resonance connected with the earth. I feel that in a certain sense, the earth is trying to help us to raise our consciousness by that Schumann resonance. That's the alpha frequency, which gives us, we'll say, sometimes some aspects of, tranquility and happiness and relaxation.
We call 7.8 to approximately 8.2 hertz. And scientists on the top of the pyramid of Egypt realized that the very top of the Great Pyramid of Giza, Egypt, was working with that frequency of 7 to 8 hertz, something that was very magical. But the scientists who were with us at one point began to dance on top of the pyramid on top. As you see here, when we began to do the musical experimentation, the pyramid began to quaver slightly, giving the sense of rhythm and dance. And so all throughout history, we see the sacred traditions of music implicit in architecture, sacred geometry, and the use of the voice to open the heart, the mind, and the spirit to oneness and joy, making us cosmo-creators or co-creators of the universal sound.
But aren't we lucky that we live in the universe where the highest level of evolution is an evolution toward coherence and toward oneness and toward harmony? And so this is now our sacred duty to promote that development, to enter into coherence with each other and help the cells, the organs of our body reach that frequency. That's 7.8 frequency which you're talking about, to become healthy, to become super coherent. I like that term, super coherence. That's where we are coherent within each other. All the cells, all the quanta of our body are coherent so that they form one whole, harmonious whole, and we are coherent with other systems around us. So we are part of a larger whole, forming that universe, a whole that we call a Gaia system, is the sacred oneness in the world. We are lucky because that's a beautiful, experienceable condition, being in harmony with the universe. We just talked about it up till now, but we can increasingly experience it. And with my books and with yours, we try to show how this can be experienced and how this is not only a privilege, but actually a necessity, a command, a moral imperative to enter into that higher state so that we can live up to the potential of who we are, potentially harmonious, evolving beings, forming a part of that larger whole, which we call the Gaia system of the planet.
I know that there's certain African tribes when the environment is not working so well for them, and they will sit and talk and say, what are we doing wrong? Where's our consciousness going wrong that we are having these, we'll say catastrophes? And, that is a good process because we actually have to question, because we are and can be in harmony with nature. I mean, we see that even with the Native Americans. They were able to do certain rain dances and sounds and frequencies that would bring rain. So it's really realizing that we are part of that greater harmony. And when things are out of balance, we have to wonder why. And we have to change the way we think, change the way we do to get back into balance, because we really are, as you said, part of the greater Gaia.
And we're sitting here before this picture or mandala of nature, showing us that there is a type of coherency that can be expanded into super coherency from the very seed of a plant that we have measured using the techniques of Hans Jenny from Switzerland, and seeing how certain sound structures actually enhance the sense of sacred geometry. And by studying sacred geometry through biofeedback, Many of our students at the University of California learn that they could co-create with music and certain forms of sacred geometry simultaneously. So the ancients understood this. This is why they built their temples, their pyramids, their ashrams with the concept of sacred music and sacred geometry.
Well, this ancient knowledge is that we have got to rediscover again and allow to practice it. This is what I and my co-workers been calling the new paradigm. You know, you have created also this Institute for New Paradigm Research, which carries my name, the Laszlo Institute. And I think the whole idea there is that the new paradigm is not a paradigm of separation. It's a paradigm of joining together, not artificially, not just I plus you somehow being connected. I and you are becoming one. This is what we learned from the quantum sciences. We are not just externally joined. Things are connected intrinsically. So that's what happens to one happens to the others as well. And when we enter into this higher harmony, I think that process actually carries over to people around us, which gives us this marvelous opportunity that we don't need literally to shake up everybody on this planet and to start thinking in harmonious and evolutionary terms. It's enough to start being that ourselves, because our consciousness is beginning to influence consciousnesses around us, so that we need to be the critical mass that will change the world, because our consciousness is part of the world. We are part of that world. We just ignored it. So let's put it to right again. Your book helps us to do that. I try to lay that out. I'm now working on a new book to be published shortly, which is the Great Upshift, which talks about how we can find peace and harmony on Earth. That's a subtitle, peace and harmony on the Earth. So I'm looking for that, precisely what you are describing in your book. And we are asking our collaborators, 3 dozen illustrious thought leaders to join us in finding ways in which you can achieve that higher level of harmony. That's the task before us. And that's a sacred task. It's a necessary task. We have a short time at our disposal before crisis becomes irreversible. We still have time, just at the nick of time. And books and work like you're doing, and like I'm trying to do with my colleagues, are really a measure of last resort. But we still come in the nick of time, and let's make the most of that. We are lucky to have publishers who help us to put this forward. So let's join together in our publications, in our activities, in our thinking already, so that we can create a higher harmony together.
Thank you. Well, just a few final last words. Maybe we'll go around one more time to just share. I did want to say something that I know made your career shift a lot as well, is the fact of quantum consciousness, to realize that we are all non-local beings. So as you said, if you can grow yourself, you're actually influencing what Lynn McTaggart calls the consciousness field. And so we're able to send that energy around the world. And oftentimes we've worked with many people in prayers for peace, because we feel that that makes a difference, because we can get into that field and literally work to neutralize the animosities. It's amazing what the consciousness field is all about. And of course, we don't feel it's within us. We are just part of the consciousness field.
And we're happy that this is the most amazing time to be alive, to see the quantum change and to be the avant-garde. And again, I'm saying this to the audience. We have had the privilege to work with the top scientists, the upper 1% at Stanford Research Institute and various universities, producing this book, Mind Dynamics in Space and Time, which shows we have the ability to be non-local, to be here, but also in a parallel dimension or a higher dimension of vibration to which we can administer co-creativity, insights of love, purpose of unity in terms of ecumenical or universal ideas. And so we're pushing the envelope from all directions, and we honor your work as a statesman, a person who, through your work with the Club of Budapest and other situations with our mutual colleagues, has laid down, as it were, a whole new criteria of how we must participate, but it must be through vibration and harmony, of which it cannot heal the division between the left and right side of the human brain and intellectual process. We must purely be this quantum change, but it must come through the love, the joy, and the wisdom of the cosmic mind within the human heart. vibrating in all directions, a sense of peace, maturity, and quantum change.
So some final words, Ervin. Thank you for being with us today. Go ahead, give us a final.
Well, I agree that this is a good time to be alive. It's a wonderful time. Change is coming, and change is still influenceable. We can still act on it. We can still make our evolution on this planet conscious. And this is an old dream which can be realized because we are in a process of rapid change, which is known in the system sciences as a bifurcation, a sudden change, a leap in another direction. Of course, a bifurcation can lead to a branch that goes down toward extinction and chaos. And that is if we are not lucky and if we ignore this oneness, then we risk that, obviously. The 6 major extinction on this planet could involve the human species. That would be a cosmic catastrophe. But there are signs that we are pulling out, that we are pulling toward an upshift toward a higher level of consciousness, and consciousness that joins us instead of separating us. So it's an exciting time to be alive, exciting time to talk about things, to write about things, and to manage to bring this idea forward. In the next few years will be critical. They're already critical. But the critical element will be the human consciousness, the human world, creating the critical mass that will shift the world in an upward direction, toward oneness, toward harmony, connected through and with love. That's the message that we are bringing forward, and it's very much needed, and it's catching on already. It's an encouraging time to live. It's an exciting time. I look forward to working with you and like-minded people to bring this message forward so that it nucleates and catches hold and creates that movement that will finally change the world, change it in time and for the better.
Thank you, Ervin. And we move ahead with this publication, your new books, as we go from Homo sapiens sapiens to Homo universalis, universal humanity, as we began to prepare a young generation to understand what the ancient Greeks, the ancient peoples of India understood as the music of the spheres by being really the composition, the activation, and the proclamation of higher unity of heart, mind, and spirit. May we be blessed.
And we invite everyone to join us in this greater music collectively for Gaia and for our own evolution. We thank you.
Let's join together. Thank you for this conversation.